Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe.
Welcome to the Madari Music Podcast, where we explore the intersections of creative arts, healing, psychology, politics, and social justice. As always, we are your hosts, Dorian Wallace.
And it's your girl, Marie.
Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words, like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe.
Cool. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? So this is Dorian Wallace, and we are waiting to see if DeMarisa might pop into the room. I am assuming that there is a phone issue, but that is all good. Because today we actually have a really cool guest. This is Carlee Jackson Bohannon. And she's a marine biologist, as well as the director of communications for Minorities in Shark Sciences, which the acronym is MISS. And so, Carlee, just wanted to thank you for joining us. And is there anything that you wanted to let people know about you before we get into our dialogue?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I am a marine biologist and I specialize in shark and sea turtle research. So I mostly do shark research, and sea turtles have historically just paid my bills. And that's kind of how I got into sea turtle research, but definitely still do a little bit of sea turtle stuff. But yeah, I am a shark researcher and started Minorities in Shark Sciences 2 years ago with 3 other Black shark scientists. And we started it because when we found each other, it was the first time we'd ever seen another Black girl in this field. And we were just like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And decided to start an organization to, help make shark science more accessible to people of color. So I'm really excired to talk about, to just conversate with y'all. And
so what drew you to shark science? I mean, I know there's a lot to it, I'm sure, but summarize.
It's honestly pretty simple. I read a book on sharks when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was something about sharks that just I was like, this is it. Like, sharks are the coolest thing ever. Like, I just latched on the sharks and it stuck with me for clearly the rest of my life. And I remember my parents were like, oh yeah, it's just a phase. And then I was homeschooled up until high school. So we would go to the library a lot to do school. And in my preteen days, I would check out and read every single book on sharks in the library. And my mom was like, okay, so this is serious. Guess you want to be a shark scientist. So that's really how my passion started, was with reading the books. And since I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, I didn't have any access to the ocean. So that was my access to the ocean, was reading books. And so that's really how I got into sharks.
Wow. No, this is really cool, because I obviously am not into sharks at the level you're at, but they're really, really gorgeous creatures, and just I don't know, there's something that's just so intelligent about them, the way they just kind of maneuver through their space. And I don't know. There's just a very spiritual thing with sharks. And so, I guess all right, imagine I'm an alien, and the question would be what is a shark?
Good question. So a lot of people think sharks and fish are different, but sharks are fish. They're just a different kind of fish. So sharks are in a group of fish called cartilaginous fish, so elasmobranchs, and that's sharks and rays and chimeras. But basically, they're in that group because their skeletons are made out of cartilage and not bone. So the same stuff that's in like our ears and our nose, it's really flexible. That's what their whole skeleton is made out of. So that's really what makes sharks different than the other groups of fish. And and they also have these special sensory organs in their face called ampullae of Lorenzini, and it helps them detect electrical fields in the water. So it's literally, they're just a living metal detector pretty much. And it's really cool because like it's pretty much a superpower for them because they can some sharks can find things in the sand really well because there's they can feel like the electrical heartbeats or the electrical impulses from different animals that might be nearby. But yeah, so sharks, like I said, they've got cartilaginous skeleton, they've got those special sensory organs, and they also have teeth that never run out. That's probably like the most popular thing about sharks. So one thing, probably as soon as I say sharks, people think of teeth and like big jaws. But yeah, so they never run out of teeth. They always have, when one tooth is gone, another tooth comes in, and they are an endless supply of like a moving belt of teeth.
Whoa. Yeah, so it's like wow. Are all sharks meat eaters or predatory?
Oh my gosh, this is a fun question because I think it was about 2 years ago they discovered the first omnivorous shark. So there's a shark species called the bonnethead, only gets like maybe 3 feet. Like they're really cute little sharks. And they found seagrass in its stomach. They saw evidence that, these sharks were eating both crabs and shrimps and seagrass, and that's never been seen before in the shark. So now we can't say all sharks only eat meat.
Wow.
There's one species at least that we know of that eats seagrass as well. So it's like, and it's not even like a mistaken thing. Like, maybe it ate a crab and there was some seagrass in there. It was like, oh no, like there's actually a small part of their diet. So I think that's really cool.
That is really cool. Yeah. Do you have a favorite shark?
I do. I love nurse sharks, and any shark scientists listening to this might be like, what the hell? What do you mean? Because nurse sharks are very like, let's see, trying to think of a good comparison. They're pretty much everywhere in like the Caribbean and like South Florida. They're very common shark to see. And usually some people are like, oh, it's just a nurse shark. But I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a nurse shark. Because I did my master's thesis on nurse sharks. And I was in Belize for 2 months and I was just in the water with nurse sharks doing my research like almost every day. So I kind of just, got a little connection to nurse sharks. And nurse sharks are those divers call them puppies of the sea because they lay at the bottom. They don't look very sharky. Like you think of a shark, you might think of like, I don't know, like a hammerhead or like a great white shark. But nurse sharks are very flat, so they can stay at the bottom. They don't have to keep swimming in order to breathe. They have a special way of breathing where they can just like suck in water using their cheek muscles. But they just chill. They're usually sleeping during the day, so you find them like under a rock. But the funniest thing about nurse sharks is they're super chill in the water. But when you're trying to tag a nurse shark, so for like the research that I do, we do scientific fishing and pull up the shark and we do a little workup and tag the shark. Nurse sharks are those one species that is just like absolutely not. It's just rage monsters. Like you pull them up and they just roll and you're like, oh my gosh. And then they're just like, no, I don't want to do this. Every other shark is chill. When you get them out of the water, they're just like, okay, I guess I'll let this happen. Nurse sharks, absolutely not. And I resonate with that. Don't mess with me or else I'm gonna get angry. You just you got a little attitude.
It's like the toddler of the sea. Like they won't put on. It's like I'm not going to put on my fucking coat. Like exactly. It's like no.
Or like a cat, like just a really asshole cat. Yeah, cat is chill until you want to like go pet it. And like exactly what nurse sharks are.
Wow. So what? Can you tell me a little bit about the nurse shark? Like what do they do? And I guess like what was your master's thesis on?
Yeah, so nurse sharks are, like I said, they're not very sharky looking sharks. They've got a very flat underside because they are benthic sharks, which means they stay at the bottom. They have a specialized way of eating and breathing called buccal pumping. So most sharks need to keep swimming in order to like pass that water through their gills, but nurse sharks and a couple of other sharks within that family, they are able to use their mouth to like suck in water like a vacuum and pull it over their gills. So that's what allows them to be able to like sleep at the bottom. And what else? They also use that to eat. So they usually eat like shelled things, so like conch, crab, lobsters, things like that, because they have crushing teeth. Their teeth aren't really used for like puncturing things. It's mostly their teeth are flat and pointed backwards so that they can crush onto things. And they also use that suction to like kind of corner a prey that's in like maybe it's in like a coral or something. They'll corner it and just slurp it up. But yeah, and they can get about like 7-8 feet maybe, but I'd say the medium range is around like 5 to 6 feet for a typical nurse shark. But they're really cute. I think they're really cute sharks. Like if you ever look up a picture of a nurse shark, they're super cute because they got like little whiskers too, and they're just like, they're precious. I love them. And my master's thesis, so I said earlier, like nurse sharks are called the puppies of the sea, so that actually makes them perfect targets for tourism. So my master's thesis was looking at the effects of provisioning tourism, which is feeding tourism, on nurse sharks in Belize. And I was just looking to see how it was affecting their behavior. There was a specific area on the island that I was on that fed the nurse sharks, and no one had done any, studies on them there. So I kind of did like a preliminary study to look at, just the different swimming behaviors of the sharks. We saw in summary, kind of what I found was that the sharks definitely were attracted to the boats that came in the area. So that boat engine, as soon as they heard the boat engine, they were like, oh, there's some food coming. And they'd go, I'm telling you, when I say I've never seen like 30 nurse sharks at one time, there were like 30 nurse sharks would just crowd around one boat being like, are you going to feed me? Are you going to feed me? I'm just like, oh my gosh. So yeah, and that's not normal for a wild animal to do. So they've basically been conditioned over time to know that a boat means food might be coming. So so these nurse sharks were kind of doing the opposite of what they're still wild nurse sharks, but the opposite of what like a typical nurse shark would do, which is sleeping during the day and eating at night because they're nocturnal. But these sharks were kind of doing, I don't even want to say the opposite, but they definitely were being very active during the day. I wasn't able to do any like night surveys or anything like that, but yeah, they're being very active during the day. This puts them at risk of being, hit by boats, boat propellers. A lot of the sharks that I saw, they had like propeller wounds on their bodies and in their fins as well. And yeah, so really it's just like, a lot of people ask me like, oh, so is tourism like just a terrible thing? Like just need to get rid of it. And it's kind of like at this point, it's a little too late to get rid of it because we don't know how it's going to affect the animals if you just completely stop the practice. But there's definitely guidelines to make it more safe for the animals and safe for the humans, because ultimately it's the humans that are wanting to experience with the sharks. So, you just have to make sure both sides are at least not getting hurt. The sharks are somewhat benefiting, I guess, but at the same time, you just, it's just always important to make sure the practices are safe for them too. So
yeah. It's there was a conference I went to a few years ago now. It was on capitalism and experimental music. So super it was sold out clearly, like huge event for. Anyways, there was a presentation of noise pollution where an individual had gone out into various wilderness spaces and just recorded. And what half the presentation was listening to the recordings, and there are so many artificial sounds just constantly, like airplanes or an electric buzz, or just everything. It's impacted by the human species, and it's kind of like what you were saying, where it's like, does that mean we stop the airlines? It's like,
Right.
no, it's like a little too late to stop that. But we also have to acknowledge that this is impacting the environment, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I always think of the when like an AC is on and you don't notice it, but you notice it as soon as it turns off. You're like, it's quiet. Oh, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
awkward silence in the background. So probably
Yeah.
something similar to, the wildlife. Not saying they'd be like, oh, it's awkward silence, but just a disruption, because at this point it's normal.
Yeah. Well, it's, I mean, even, we're recording these podcasts, and, it's very low technology, and like the amount of times, like I will not, like I've literally got a baby monitor right next to me, and I just realized how close it is to the microphone,
Oh
because
my
it's like,
God.
I'm not going to notice it now, but I'll absolutely notice it in post-production.
Right.
And yeah, it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I just remember, so a lot of my research was just observational, because the laws of that specific island, they just didn't want me to handle the sharks. And so all of it was observational, and I did a lot of like camera setups and everything. So a lot of the times when I was watching the recordings, you can hear the boat first, like you'll hear that like the propeller going through, and then in the frame you just see all these sharks like beelining towards that sound. So it was crazy to see, but it was also kind of like cool to be like, wow, like these sharks know, like they know exactly what that sound is.
So I'm gonna like change it just a little bit. So obviously we're like a music oriented podcast, and it's like, how the fuck does shark science and music intersect? And the answer is, I have no idea. However, I had asked you what music you listen to, and if you could send like two artists, and so you had mentioned Megan the wow, of course I'm having yeah, thank you. I almost said Megan Thee Williams, and it was like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Yeah, my
Not
brain.
quite, not quite.
Yeah. When your brain just shuts down in the
Yeah,
middle.
a little brain fart. It's all good.
Yeah. But then you had also mentioned Flosstradamus, who I'd not heard of, and I listened to a whole bunch of them over the weekend just to chat. But first and foremost, like what do you like about we'll just say like Megan for now, Megan and Flosstradamus. What do you like about their styles?
So I'm very much I'm less lyrical and more musical when I like a music style. Like I just love Meg's like the beats that she has. I like twerking. So she got some good twerking songs.
Oh yeah.
And also like I just like her as an artist, because she is just like been through a lot. Like that girl has been through a lot. Like her parents dying, and then her grandma dying, and like, I suspect that's a lot as a famous artist like that. And also she graduated from college last year, and I can't even imagine like doing that and being on tour and all that. So in a lot of her music, she expresses that, like her song, what is it? Anxiety, on her newest album, Traumazine. She says in that a lot, like, bad bitches have bad days too. Like, hello, like, yes, I'm a bad bitch, but I got some bad days. And she's got to like pick herself a lot. And like, I resonate with that, because I don't know, I'm a bad bitch too. And I definitely do not feel like a bad bitch a lot of times. So I really resonate with that. And like with Flosstradamus, I also do a lot of raves. Me and my best friend, we call each other we're rave wives. So we go out and we rave a lot. She got me into it in college, and I just, like I said, I'm more of like the musical, less lyrics and more like the sound and everything. And like EDM just has like, I like the sound of EDM. Like it's fun, and raves are just like, it's just a bunch of hippies coming together and like dancing to music. Everyone's so nice, and I'm like, wow, I am a hippie at heart. So yeah, I feel like my music styles kind of reflect myself in a way, because you've got the Meg Thee Stallion side, like, yes, bad bitch wants to twerk, and then you've got the EDM side of me, which is more like hippie and like, yes, like love everyone. And and Floss just really has that like intense sound that I like. Like he's got like a lot of like hip hop vibes to his sound, and just like deep like bass drops, and I love bass drops. Like, I'm a bass head too. And like, yeah, like I said, I just feel my musical like what I like in music is just so broad, because I listen for like the sound and not really the lyrics. So
yeah, so it's almost like you're drawn to like the vibe or the energy more than necessarily the content, though the content can resonate with you, like with Megan Thee Stallion's Anxiety. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. No, that's the one thing. I mean, so first and foremost, with Megan's music, I actually had not heard of her until WAP came out with
Cardi B. Cardi B is like my number 2. I love Cardi.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, Cardi's one of my all-time favorites. Like I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I think that one was a genius. Like she knows exactly what she's doing. She's always herself.
Unapologetic.
DeMarisa, the way she describes Cardi is she's the person everybody wishes they could be. Like, it's like she's exactly what you wish she could do. Like,
just completely not caring what anyone says, and just always have a comeback. Always.
Yeah, but then she's also always aligned with the right side of history too. Like she's like, it's very authentic, and she calls shit out just exactly as it should be, and she understands like working class struggles and all of these things. But just to go back to Megan, I hadn't really listened to her music until WAP came out, and it was so fucking unreal how just the response to that song in and of itself, just the patriarchy in and of itself, just being like, oh, what are these women talking about? And it was like, I'm gonna change it just like a moment, just to add a certain perspective. Like, I was literally sitting in Rikers Island once, and we were listening to it was a group of gentlemen that were more my age, so millennials, and like we were listening to Biggie Smalls, Give Me the Loot, and we were talking about drill music, because most of the guys and girls and everybody in Rikers, most of them are drill heads, but this particular house was like more early 30s somethings, and literally we're listening to Give Me the Loot, which is about a fucking robbery. Like, there's a line where he kicks a pregnant woman in the stomach, and the guy like who had chosen that song, like, it's playing, and he was like, man, this drill music is all just violence and negativity. And like, it was just one of those, like, are you listening to the song that we're listening to right now? But the reason I brought that up is it is similar with the response that was happening with that song, with Cardi and Megan, where it was like this song has been said in the reverse thousands of times,
so many times. And the men didn't get the heat for that, but as soon as the women start talking about their own bodies and like, I want to do this, want to do that, they're like, oh my gosh, just stop. It's disgusting. Respect yourself. What? Okay. Yeah, oh my gosh, that song when it came out, I definitely had it bopping like every day for probably a good month.
But that, like, talk about vibe, that beat is so sick.
It
Like,
really is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They make some good music. I don't know if they've done another song since then, but they should. If they haven't, they should, because that song's fire.
But yeah, it's like that was the first I'd heard of Megan, and she's got flow. Like, I mean, Cardi's got flow too. You know, it's like that. That's
and Cardi's flow's gotten better, because I remember I did not like Cardi when she first came out. I was like, she's annoying. Like, I was like, this bitch is annoying. Like, what? I remember seeing her videos and I was like, but then I realized, I was like, nah, like, this is just who she is. Like, she doesn't give a fuck. And I was like, okay, I kind of like you. But yeah, Megan's flow is just like, it's just unreal. It's just, she just be flowing. And in her freestyles, I'm just like, oh, slay.
Yeah, like the freestyle element of hip hop, and like specifically MCing, how the roots of jazz music and the blues are still just very alive in hip hop and just like MCing in and of itself. And if you replace harmonic language with lyrical craft, it's like that's what MCing is. And like what is it about her vibe with her freestyling that you dig?
She just gets, it's a lot of what is it, like, because she gets a lot of heat, it's like she expresses that in her freestyles. Like, she'll go back and, you know, be like, you know, what is it? Like, they'll call me a stallion, and then, you know, like, you still want to fuck me? Like, okay, that type thing. And it's just like, just throwing a bunch of hits at people who are always coming at her about like either how she looks, or it's like, oh, like, you're just spreading hoe culture. But it's like, well, I make money, and this is just me, and, you know, you can't really, like, I'm really bad at explaining this, but it's very, like I said, it's just very much like she'll put a lot of her life into her freestyles. And I don't know, I feel like it's just, you can tell that she is freestyling, but also it just flows so well. And just with everything she's been through in her life and everything, she puts a lot of that into her freestyles.
Yeah. Just take a sip. I'm a bad bitch and I got bad anxiety. People call me rude cause I ain't letting them try me. Saying I'm a hoe cause I'm in love with my body. Issues but nobody I can talk to about it. They keep saying I should get help, but I don't even know what I need. They keep saying speak your truth, and at the same time say they don't believe. Man, excuse me while I get into my feelings for a second. Usually I keep it in, but today I gotta tell it. Not that anybody gives a fuck anyway, but everybody talking shit probably sucks anyway. Yeah, I don't even know how I feel. I don't even know how I deal. Today I really hate everybody, and that's just me being real. Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, bad bitches have bad days too. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bounce back, high, bad bitch, always do. All I really wanna hear is it'll be okay. Bounce back cause a bad bitch can have bad days. All I really wanna hear is it'll be okay. Bounce back cause a bad bitch can have bad days. If I could write a letter to heaven, I would tell my mama that I should've been listening. And I would tell her sorry that I really been wildin'. And ask her to forgive me cause I really been trying. And I would ask, please show me who been real. And get them from around me if they all been fake. It's crazy how I say the same prayer to the Lord, and I always get surprised about who he take. Man, I'm really thinking about dialing 911 till I free, cause they probably won't think it's that deep. And I don't do drugs, so I never get a time when I'm at ease. I can't even handle smoking weed. Marilyn Monroe, my favorite hoe, my favorite bad bitch, I think she the GOAT. Jamming to Britney, singing to Whitney. I just want to talk to somebody that get me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, bad bitches have bad days too. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bounce back, high, bad bitch, always do. All I really wanna hear is it'll be okay. Bounce back cause a bad bitch can have bad days. All I really wanna hear is it'll be okay. Bounce back cause a bad bitch can have bad days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, bad bitches have bad days too. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bounce back, high, bad bitch, always do. All I really wanna hear is it'll be okay. Bounce back cause a bad bitch can have bad days. All I really wanna hear is it'll be okay. Bounce back cause a bad bitch can have bad days.
So the part where she says, you know, her prayers to the Lord, and then she always gets surprised about who you take. My gosh, like if that doesn't resonate, because it's like, you know, something, because I pray and be like, all right, Lord, like whoever's holding me back, take them, or whoever's fake, like whoever doesn't doesn't align with my life, whoever's not supposed to be in my life, whatever, like, and you'll be like, oh, like things will happen. And that actually happened to me recently, like right after my wedding. And it was just like, okay, all right. So you just get very surprised. And like who he shows you is like not supposed to be in your life. But that and like the part where she, like I said, the whole chorus where she's like, bad bitches have bad days too. Like, and it's just, you don't think about artists and big entertainers like her ever having anxiety or having bad days, because you're like, they make money, like they just can do whatever they want because they be out here making money and blah blah blah. And a lot of people tie happiness to money, and it's just another reminder that that's not the case. Like you can have all the money in the world and still have anxiety and have bad days. Because I have anxiety, I have ADHD, which the root of it is anxiety. So this song just describes my life. I just love it.
Wow. Yeah, it's like there's an interview with Kendrick Lamar actually where he's like speaking about when he got to know Dr. Dre, like, and he was like, yeah, like at first I was starstruck, but like when you're working with somebody for a long time, and like he's like, like you go on like lunch break, like that's when I like started it's like, oh right, he's like a human, like yep. He was like talking about like normal stuff, like just the what life was like at home, or like just like things on the news that were like troubling him, or like that kind of thing. And
just bounce back, because a bad bitch can have bad days. Because bouncing back, I feel like, is even the hardest part, because sometimes it'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're like, I can't even bounce back. So it's just so that's why the song resonates.
Well, it's interesting because the second verse, aside from like the lyrical content, like that flow and energy, like she's like almost double timing it. And it's like, like it's just, she's like very much locked into something larger than herself. And it's just the lyrics, it's like, if I could write a letter to heaven, I would tell my mama that I should have been listening, and I would tell her sorry that I really been wild, and ask her to forgive me because I really been trying. Like that's like just a very human moment.
Very human. Because it's like, a lot of I think I said this in the beginning, like she lost her mom, she lost her dad, and her mom was, I believe her mom was a rapper, and she like is who she got that that passion for rapping and like flowing is from her mom. So it's just, and she does talk about her mom a lot, and just putting that into her song as part of her story, it's just makes her a whole lot more human.
Well, and you had mentioned like you were homeschooled, and you mentioned your mom at the beginning of this dialogue, and about your interest in sharks, and I don't know, is there anything that resonates in this in regards to the relationship with your own mother?
Yeah, I mean, when she says like I should have been listening, it's like, so many times I told mom like, all right, I should have listened to you. I mean, that was a little bit, probably more like a couple years ago now, because I think by now I've figured out a little bit. But like me and my mom, we actually did not have like the best relationship growing up. She was a little mean. She knows that that this has been established. But after I graduated and went to college, it was like our relationship just changed a lot. Like we got a lot closer. It was like more of a more like, she became one of my close friends, and at the same time, still my mom. And it's, just I cherish that relationship with her, because you just never know what's going to happen. And she definitely is like a big part of why I push myself so hard, because my mom is like such a successful woman. Like she probably is gonna listen to this and be like, successful what? And I'm like, mother, you are a professional violinist. You played with people like Stevie Wonder, and she was like she was so smart, like in school. She's got 2 degrees, like all that. And so she's just someone who I really look up to, and always I always cherish my moments with her. And it sucks because she lives, I'm from Michigan, and I'm in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. So she and my dad are still up there, so I don't get to see her as much, but so definitely that mother-daughter relationship is something that always, that whenever Meg talks about, sorry, something came up on my computer. When Meg talks about it in her songs, I just think it's so cool that she uses that in her music.
Yeah, she also, I mean, just in this verse, like there's the, I'm really thinking about dialing 911 till I freak, because they probably won't think it's that deep. And like that is just like it. I mean, part of the anxiety is like, oh, people won't take me seriously.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I'm overreacting, but it's like, I mean, because the anxiety is what tells you you're overreacting, and that no one's gonna think it's really that deep. And in reality, you're just making that up in your head. Because like, some things are serious, and once you say it, like, I'm feeling this way, or, like I'm having these thoughts, as soon as you say it to someone, then you kind of realize like, okay, like if they're decent human, they will understand, and they won't think it's that deep. Like they'll be like, okay, like how can I help? But that anxiety just tells you like, nah, it's not that big of a deal. You can go through it by yourself. When really you can't.
It's this just in a larger like social space. It really is like the issue. I mean, one of 1,000 in regards to just a white supremacist culture as well as a patriarchal culture, because I'll put it this way, like one of the most embarrassing parts of just my own development is, I didn't really come to terms with the concept of white privilege until I was like 25. And, a lot of friends, mostly Black men, who, when I started like talking, like actually talking, like, and actually listening, like a lot of them were just like, we know, like, it was like that kind of thing. But the reason I'm bringing this up is there are so many incidents where like, there's a lot of Black women specifically that I know who are in the theater world or into acting, and they have like just this unbelievable anxiety about like what role they're gonna get cast as, or like what they won't get cast as. Like there's a friend of mine who is like straight up very classical theater, like very Shakespearean, very just like old school English. However, she's a woman of color and never gets those roles, and also does not feel comfortable with the roles that she does get, because it's not at all who she is or how she wants to present herself. And it's just like there are times when when I've caught myself being demeaning towards somebody without even realizing it. Just it's like, oh, you'll just get your shit together and everything's gonna be fine. And it's like, that's not actually the case. Like it's so I don't know, sorry, that was kind of a self-centered ramble, but
good. I mean, with what you had just said, it's definitely over time you learn empathy, and also over time you learn that you're not the only one who feels this way. And I think, when Megan says this in her songs, it kind of also helps you relate. You're like, wow, I actually relate to someone who I've never met. And who is at like such high status. Like if they're going through the same things I'm going through, then there's definitely other people around me who are going through the same things. And I used to have a lot of anxiety about, like, when I first started getting into science communication after my nonprofit started blowing up. We started getting, a lot of calls for speaking at different things, doing different podcasts, different like presentations, things like that. And I would have this terrible anxiety of being like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to start talking and I'm going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. Or people are going to be like, oh, like that's wrong. Or, oh, there's shark scientists are going to see this and be like, what is she talking about? And I don't know where those thoughts came from, but it's just, it was over time I had to realize, like, one, these people are coming to you because to them, you are an expert. You know about sharks. You have 2 degrees where you did a whole project on sharks. You're, helping other people get into shark science, teaching people things and helping run a whole organization. And sometimes you just got to gas yourself up a little to get the anxiety to just calm down. So definitely was something that I had to get through over the years. And it's still getting through. It's a whole process.
Yeah, it's not like the process is just over now that you've acknowledged it exists. It's not like, all right, now we're good. But
it's more of a now I can recognize when those thoughts do come, you just have a system in place where you can help calm those thoughts or silence, just quiet them down a little.
Yeah. Well, and it's like that's I think like one of the great things about what you've done with Miss, just because it's like that's instilling a support system in a community of like-minded folks. I mean, as insane as the internet has made the world, with our last neo-fascist president and the richest man in the world spreading conspiracy theories on one of the largest social media networks, aside from that part of the internet that's really toxic, there's also just an amazing way of connecting with people who are interested in things. Like, so I have to ask, you said you had never met another Black shark scientist, and how many people of color in the shark sciences do you know now?
Like in our so Miss, we have our own like membership pretty much, and if you apply to become a member, you have to be a gender minority of color and either be interested in shark sciences or already in shark sciences. There are like, I think last year we had we have 300 people in our membership now, and it's like that was another thing with Miss. Like at the same time, we're making it more accessible, but we're also highlighting the diverse voices that are already in shark science, because you would never know there were other people that weren't white men named Mike if you just watch Shark Week and you're just like, oh yeah, like this is what a shark scientist looks like. But in reality, shark scientists are all the colors of the rainbow, all the different, identities of the rainbow. Like there's just so many different prominent researchers in shark science that don't get the same publicity or the same, recognition as a lot of the white men that might not even be scientists. They might just swim with the sharks and just, they look cool, because apparently sharks and big macho men, that they are the same, I guess, whatever. But yeah, so it's definitely really cool to, have that community.
I mean, in some of the really insecure white men's minds, I imagine it's like, we're really strong, but we're endangered,
They're so endangered. My gosh. Yeah. Apparently the white man is the most, what is it? They were like, white men are such discriminated upon, I'm like, okay, how? Just please explain how. And don't tell me your little sob story about how someone called you racist. And it's like, well, what did you say? And then like,
yeah, it's like let's
have
rewind
you ever
that.
been in a space where you're like, I'm the only one here that looks like me, and like actually felt afraid? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I could go on and on, but
Yeah. No, I mean, this is one reason I wanted to chat with you, was because the arts and the sciences, it's like, I think that they're tapping into like, and this is philosophical. I'm not talking biology right now or whatever the fuck. But it's like we're tapping into similar places of expanding consciousness or expanding knowledge. And it's, the arts world has the exact same problem. It's like, you look at this entire community and, you only see the stuff that's been placed on top, but there's like an entire universe of human beings that only get one kind of role or one kind of commission. Like I know a lot of composers who like, they will not do any performances during February because it's like, no, I want you to fucking program my music because you're programming it, not it's like, now we're going to yeah, exactly. Well, and like the other thing is like there's these stupid arguments of just of like, well, yeah, now people are getting to the top who didn't deserve it. And it's like, as opposed to as opposed to all those, great, hardworking, merit-based people who are already at the top. It's like that.
Like they've taken over. I'm like, well, maybe they've earned their right to do that. Like maybe they actually have, they took the right steps. But is making me think. I just talked to my mom yesterday or Saturday, and she just finished her last concert of the season. So her Christmas season is like so busy because she's just doing Christmas concerts all the time. And she was saying how she was like, I didn't notice it before, but like, this is really bothering me. Like, she's usually the only one of like maybe 2 or 3 Black people in the entire theater, like in the entire auditorium. And she was just like, it didn't bother me before, but I'm tired of this. So it was like, we need to go to like communities that are, not predominantly white, and I don't want to be the only Black person all the time. And she's been doing this, like I said, 40, 50 years, and she's gonna hate that I said that. She's not. And she's always been the only one. And when she's not the only one, she does I don't know if you've ever heard of the Messiah. It's like a big holiday, soulful Christmas type thing, and she does that a lot, or she's done it in the past, and those are some of her favorite things to do because she's just surrounded by a bunch of Black people and singing some soulful music. And but yeah, so it's just that just reminded me of when you were talking about the composers and everything. Like even today, she's she's still one of the only Black violinists or Black musicians in her symphonies. So it's just crazy.
Yeah. It's really funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's actually horrifying and dangerous. But if we take a step back and just like sort of in the nature of just examining this shit, it's one of the processes. It's like it's not about filling spaces with people of color, with human beings. It's not about filling those spaces. It's about expanding what you're seeing so you can actually get a real experience of the actual human society. Like, I'll put it this way. One of the first spaces that I started to become aware of these issues is, my family's economically disenfranchised. We're from a factory town in middle of Ohio. And, it's like, wait, what the fuck is white privilege? Like, I don't even know what that is. Like it was like, I've had to struggle, like which is all true. Like, by the way, like all of that is actually true. However, it was, when I joined the military, that was one of the first times where all of a sudden it was like when the government needs people to die, or actually more importantly, to kill for capital, there is no fucking problem filling, diversity. It's like it was one of the most diverse places I'd ever been at that up until then. And literally one of my closest friends from there is a Hispanic dude from specifically Mexican from Texas. And like literally the conversation we had, like drill sergeant was at the other side of the room, like screaming at people, and we're all standing at parade rest, and he like leans over and he was like, yo, I've never been around this many white people before. And I was like, yo, I've never been around not this many white people before. And like we were immediately like, very like just close friends, but it was so much of an eye opener on so many layers. Like, we would go out in uniform, and if you're in uniform, like people, oh, thank you for your service, hands shaking, like rounds are bought for you, all that kind of shit. When we would go out in, we call it civvies, but normal civilian clothes, we would go into like a CVS. All my dudes who were not white would get like followed or eyed, like they were going to steal something. And it was like, wait, what is this about? And it was like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Like you just let it. And it was like, what do you mean it's fine? It was like, yeah, no, it's fine. Like, nothing's happening. It was like, and that, it was just like one of those, like brain cracking moments. And I sorry, I don't mean to turn this into a therapy session from me to you, but it's yeah, like it really is like one of those moments of embarrassment and of shame where it's like all of this is happening all the time and never noticed it. Like,
I mean, you can't even I feel like it's more so society's fault. Like, I don't know, like, because I feel like if it was something that was, if people taught the right history in schools, maybe, or more of the history of just America in general and what it was founded on, and all the different terrible things along with the good thing within America that's happened specifically with race and specifically with Black people. I just feel like it would be less of a, I don't know, like I feel like it should be less of a brain breaking moment, but it's not, because it's something that's not constantly, talked about. It's like, oh, we don't talk about that. Like, white privilege. Oh no, there's no, everyone has privilege. Oh, like race doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's like, but it does. People just forget that this entire country was founded on top of slaves. Like, people that they took from Africa, and also the natives that were here, they just wiped them out. And now we're America. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, how do you think, it just always blows my mind when people are like, I never knew about, I'm not like going at you or anything, but like I never knew about racism. No. I didn't know it was that bad. And it's like, well, because you kind of people just don't want to open their eyes sometimes, those kind of, because it's very uncomfortable. I would think it's probably uncomfortable, but and I always go back to, I get a lot of white woman tears, and I'm always just like, well, wow, like you're crying because you just found out all these terrible things and how it makes me feel. How do you think I feel every single day? And it's just, it's always crazy. But, I always appreciate my allies, because, like I remember the first time I was on a boat with all women. Like, it was maybe like 2 other men, but it was my first time on a shark boat with all women. The directors of the shark research were women. And it was our first workshop that we did with Miss. And just being on a boat surrounded by like women of color and like boss ass women in shark science, I was just like, this has never happened before, and this is amazing. Like, I want to feel like this all the time. you know, because it's like the complete opposite. I'm on a boat and I'm the only Black person there, and people are like, are you supposed to be here? Like, should you be on that other boat? No, I'm supposed to be here. What are you talking about? I'm a shark researcher.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't even know where I was going with that. I was rambling a little bit, but yeah, it's crazy out here, man.
I mean, it's just even in our dialogue right now, there were some inherent things that that you did and I did that I found really interesting. Like the thing I did was I started to talk about my discovery of all of this and how shocking it is. And the thing you did was when you started to talk about how it's irritating, you were like, oh, but not you. Like it's like we have these like knee-jerk ingrained things when literally like you and I before we even started this like talked about like, oh, don't worry about, and it's like we still did this shit. And it's like yeah it's like it's really eye-opening.
Yeah, it really is.
So I don't want to take up all your time today, and I'm also gonna send Dee some funny text messages. It's like you missed out on a great conversation. But I guess yeah, like, do you find any connection with the music that we were talking about today with your love of sharks? And let me just like kind of describe it really quickly with what I mean is that one of the things with like music therapy in and of itself is we are looking at the human being as a holistic being. And so it's not like you have a segment of you that listens to Megan's music and a segment of you that is a shark scientist. It's like they're both you currently right now. So I'm interested if you have any insights on any kind of relationships between that within your own being.
Yeah, no, I think you had asked me this over email and I was like, I'm going to just sit and meditate on this for a little bit. But I definitely see similarities. I think I said earlier, I have ADHD, so my brain is like in 1,000 different places at one time most of the time. And I feel like in my science, I do like dabble in a lot of different things. So like I started with like shark tourism as my master's thesis, but I'm interested in so many different things that might not even be related to tourism, like shark movement. And like even within shark tourism, how does that affect their movement? How does that affect their diet? Like getting into like the more chemistry of things. And I also am interested in like the social science part of it. Like what are people, what are they expecting or like what kind of people are coming to do these types of experiences and things like there's just so many different things. And I feel like with my musical taste, I'm one of those people who's like, oh yeah, I listen to pretty much everything except for country. I had a country phase in college because I was surrounded by a lot of white people. I was also an athlete. I was a swimmer. So I was also the only Black person 98% of the time. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, so I have like such a diverse musical taste, and like what I look for in my music is just like, like what you're saying, that vibe. And it's almost like the same thing in shark science, whatever my brain like latches onto, because I'm like, ooh, like this just feels like something cool could come out of this. I feel like that definitely intersects with my musical taste, because like I said, I'm everywhere all the time, interested in so many different things. And that's the same way with my music. Like I like took a look through my like Apple Music playlists that I have. Like usually if I have a favorite song, I'll just add it to this playlist. And there's hip hop, EDM, like pop music, like hardcore trap music, and then like maybe like one country song that I was like, oh, this is a good vibe. Like I kind of like it. So it's just, yeah. So like I said, I just have very diverse taste in music and also just diverse interests. And I can never stay on one thing for too long.
Well, it's also like, every piece of music that you've mentioned, like, we didn't even really dig into Flosstradamus, but like, from what I gathered is back when it was like a straight up duo, like they were really innovators in the trap music world. And trap is like such an authentic art form, and it's all vibe. Like everything with trap is vibe. It's like no, we're gonna use this specific snare drum sound in every song. And it's like, we're gonna like use this particular 808 like drum, like bass drum sound in every song. And that's, but it's to create like this like energetic vibe. And it's like, all right, so everybody's got the same material to work with. How are these geniuses going to, make these into separate songs or separate things? And the answer is that it's like it's continuing to go.
Exactly. That's like one thing I love about EDM. Like when we're at the raves, like me and my friend love watching the DJ because it's just how like into it they get, and then them doing all their little things. I'm like, you're just making all these sounds. Like, how do you do that? And it's like some of them are the same sounds that the last DJ used, but in a different way, and just like it gives a completely different vibe. So
yeah. But yeah, it's like also, I mean, this might be a stretch. I guess you can punch me in the face if this doesn't resonate with you. I don't know why I went to that, but
the virtual punch.
But yeah. But there, one of the things you had mentioned was how like sharks sense through the electricity
fields.
Yeah, the electrical field, and like that, like I don't know.
Oh my gosh, maybe I have my own electrical field sense because I like electric music.
Yeah. Well, it's like very much like aware of the atmosphere, aware of the vibe.
I like that.
Because it's like, I mean, like, what is a rave? It's like
all vibes.
It's like, it's that is what it is. Yeah, and I mean EDM, trap, all of it. No,
that is really interesting because I like that you threw your musical therapy in there. I am a shark now.
Well, I mean, can I say something that I'm very terrified to say because it might sound really dehumanizing and I don't want it to?
Go ahead and say it.
But yeah, it's I had this moment as a child. We had this dictionary set from the 1950s just in our house, and I used to like just read things. Did I say dictionary? It was an encyclopedia.
Wow.
From like the 1950s, and specifically as a kid, the two things that I read that were just like I was like disgusted reading them was specifically about the great white shark and specifically about Black people, because they were just these horrible, just destructive ways. Like it was like the great white shark, a man-eater, eats on human flesh. It was like, what? like what? This is an encyclopedia. And then like it was like, I'm not even going to use the words because it did not say Black people. That's
I can only imagine. From the 50s.
And it was like lacking intelligence in some areas, and it was just like, what? Like, I'm talking like as like a 7-year-old was reading this, and like there was something like very disturbing about this. And so I don't want to apologies if any of that came off as okay.
But when you were saying that, I actually just thought of something that I feel like I've said before, but like I feel like Black people and sharks kind of have a similar rep, because especially back in the day, especially right after Jaws came out, that's when a lot of the shark culling started up in Cape Cod area. And, people think of sharks, these terrible man-eaters that have this bad rep for something that they don't do really at all. They don't eat people.
Yeah.
I mean, they usually take a bite and swim away because they're like, oh, that is not what I thought you were. But yeah, and at the same time, like, you know, sharks are diverse. There's over 500 different species of sharks, and you know, Black people, we're all different. Like, we don't all fit in one stereotype, and we also have a bad rep. You know, like you were saying, what happens to your friend? You walk into Target, there's someone on your tail. If you're a big Black man, you know, getting stopped at a traffic or a traffic stop, you got to sit there and hope that they don't have that. I hope that the police officer doesn't have that, you know, that way of thinking where it's like, oh, he's a big Black man, then I got to keep my hand on the gun. But yeah, so, you know, in a lot of ways, sharks and people of color and Black people, they've got a little similarities because we both get bad reps.
Yeah. Well, and also, I like just hearing the point you brought up was about the diversity of species or like the diversity of types of sharks. And like, you know, as a non-shark scientist, it's like, I think of the great white, I think of the bull shark, I think of the hammerhead, and like and whale shark. Like if I'm like, oh, they're wonderful. Yeah. But it's like, it's very much aligned with how, you know, like we'll say like, oh, you know, going to China, going to France, going to Spain, going to Africa. Like Africa is a gigantic continent. There are many nations and many ethnicities, and, you know, but it's like, you don't even have the decency to like learn about a few of the places. Like, and it's also the same thing. Like we talk about, like, what's the problem with like white power versus Black power? This is something that happens a lot in white spaces where it's like, well, why can't we talk about this? And they don't talk about this out loud in front of like other people, especially like I'll say like post 1970s and 80s, people started to like try not to put that in like media sources, but it still gets talked about, you know, in behind closed doors all the time. But one of the things is, you know, I'll say like the liberal white racist will like defend that it's like, there's no problem with like, you know, having like Italian pride or Irish pride or, you know, like I don't have a problem with that. But once you have white pride, and it's like, well, why don't Black people have Black? And it's like, well, maybe it's because our entire culture disintegrated the ability to find where people's backgrounds and lineages go to. And you know, like, so right now we've got this made up concept of a one type of person, and that's I don't know. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. It's and it's just it's sad, but also something that, I don't know, I feel like you know, it gives us a little bit of culture here. Just, you know, knowing that our culture was taken away from us, but us kind of creating our own culture out of that here in America. So
I mean, it's you know, in any kind of music lesson, when we start with American music, it's like it goes to the blues. Like it's like the blues isn't everything. Blues came out of the fields, and you know, it's like what do Garth Brooks and the Wu-Tang Clan have in common? It's like the blues is in their DNA. Like you cannot listen to American music, you know, whatever we call America at this point. You know, but like you cannot listen to any of that music without the blues being in its musical DNA. And it's just this will be my last kind of point, just to throw at you, and then I'd love to hear some final thoughts. So are you familiar with how like the blues works, or like the blues scale? Any of that?
No. I when you were talking about that, I've taken a class before. It was like the history of rock and roll, and it went into a lot of like where rock and roll came from, and it was of course it was very heavy on Black artists, because a lot of Black artists is what started it. But that's just what it made me think of. But I'm not familiar with like the different scales.
Yeah. So there's a music theorist and improviser and composer who's since passed away, Yusef Lateef. He's just a deep intellectual. He's also a major part of the American Muslim movement, and just like he has these really amazing charts where he took like John Coltrane's solos and literally graphs them out, and they're like gorgeous pieces of art, but they're actually like harmonic analysis.
Cool.
But he was speaking about the blues once, and I feel so dumb because I don't know where this comes from anymore. I heard it once and was like, whoa. And then, but the blues scale, sorry, the blues is basically at its root, it's 3 different chords. It's a 1 chord, which is your like tonic where you land on, your 4 chord, which is your subdominant, which is sort of your like area to explore, your 5 chord, which is where resolution exists, which always goes back to the 1. So you've got 1, 4, and 5. So da 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 da. That's the blues in a nutshell, in its harmonic landscape in which you live. Then on top of that, at the most basic level, when you improvise over the blues, you do some kind of pentatonic scale, which is it's a 5-note scale that exists in every culture, and it's you've got your root, which is your 1, and then you go up to a minor third, which creates a little bit of tension. And then you have the 4 and the 5, which is your result safe areas. There's also the 7th, which either leads downward or leads upward harmonically. But to get into the next level, there's another scale that blues musicians play with, and it's called the blues scale, which is the pentatonic scale with 1 extra note in the middle that is outside of the harmonic language. And that's called the blue note, which the famous jazz record label called the Blue Note is named after this note. But basically Yusef is like, all right, so what is the blue note? And, you know, the question, it's like, well, it's a dissonant note. It's a passing tone. He's like, but yeah, there's no distinct answer. And that's because that's where the oppression lives. And you cannot play the blue note. You'll never understand the blue note because it's deeper than you'll ever be. And it just, so like, no joke, he said that. Mind exploded. Went and listened to BB King like right after, and it goes wah, 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 like that fucking note right there. And it just like all of a sudden it was like, it's almost like it's like a time portal into just I mean, to align with, you know, what even is happening with the anxiety song we listen to. I mean, that's the blue note is all over that, like literally. And yes. So anyways, that was a way long ramble.
That was like so fascinating because like I played instruments growing up, but I never got into like music theory and like the really nitty gritty of it. But that's just so interesting. That's that, like the blue note is the oppression. That's the one that, you know, no one can really, you can't explain it. That's very powerful. Yeah. And I can definitely hear it when the more you talk about it, or when you said Meg's song, I think I can hear that blue note too. Yeah. Wow.
So, are there any, I guess, like final thoughts that you would, you know, want people to know about anything, you know, sharks or
sharks
you
are cool.
or life?
Sharks are the best, you know. Yeah, well, I guess I'll say that one, I very much enjoyed our conversation, and this was very cool. I've never talked about music and sharks before. Can definitely put that one in my books. But it's just, you know, I just would love for people to understand that sharks are very misunderstood creatures, and also just very diverse creatures. And I would also encourage everyone to Google epaulet sharks, and it might change your entire outlook on sharks in general, because you might start thinking sharks are cute. people don't think sharks are cute, but look up the epaulet shark. You might change your mind.
How do you spell that?
EPAU LETTE, I think. Something like that. Epaulet.
Yes, they're very cute.
Yes, they're adorable. But yeah, so that I digress. But I'd love for everyone to just know how diverse sharks are, how diverse shark scientists are, and they are very much in need of our help because a lot of populations are declining in different species all around the world, and just different threats that's affecting their ability to stay in certain places or to migrate to different parts of the world. And sharks are not out there to get us. And sharks are they're just very unique creatures. They're unique, they're mysterious, and they definitely need all the help they can get. And also, shameless plugging my organization, Minorities in Shark Sciences, or MISS. I'll give you all the website and social media stuff for the site, but our job is to basically create a more accessible pathway to shark science, but also create a safe space for shark science, because it is a very white male dominated, and we want to make it a safe space for those people of color within these white dominated spaces. So so I guess those are my last thoughts. Just kind of plugging in everything, but I really enjoyed talking to you, and this is just so cool to talk about sharks and science. So it's like sharks and music. I feel like in some ways music, well, in a lot of ways, music and science they're just very similar. Just, their music is a science, really.
Oh yeah.
Sound science.
Where can people find you on the social webs?
Yeah, so my social media tags are at the real Carlee _B. If you think about it, I stole Cardi B's thing. Yep. So as soon as I got married and my last name changed to Bohannon, I was like, I'm changing my social media handles. But I'm on Instagram and Twitter under that social tag. And then my organization, Minorities in Shark Sciences, you can find us at Miss Elasmo, that's ELASMO.org. And our social media handles are at Miss_Elasmo.
Yeah. And then the last thing is, we didn't even talk about it, but you wrote a children's book.
I did, yes. So I wrote, it's kind of like a full circle from me reading a book on sharks, and that's how I got obsessed with sharks, and now I wrote a kid's books on sharks. So the name of the book is called Sharks: A Day in the Life. So it's 24 hours. The whole book is going over 24 hours, and throughout those 24 hours you're meeting different shark species and kind of seeing what they're doing during the day. And you can find it's on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles, Target, all those places.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Maderi Music. You can subscribe to patreon.com/Maderi Music for $5 per month, get a complete second episode every other week, and access our entire archive of premium episodes.
We love doing this, but it requires a substantial amount of time and energy. So our goal is to earn enough to cover 2 incomes.
Thank you so much if you're already a subscriber. Your subscription allows us to remain ad-free and editorially independent.
If you can't contribute financially, please consider posting about us on social media and sharing with your friends and community. You can find everything else on our website, www.maderimusic.com.
In the words of our comrade, Assata Shakur, it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We'll see you next time.
$5. Man, that ain't shit.
I don't know if it was worth $5, but it was pretty fucking good.